Okay, chapter 3, time and money, managing important resources. This lesson is going to be included because time and money have a lot to do with college. Making money costs you time, and managing time and money may mean taking longer to graduate. So, we're going to identify time related needs and preferences, managing money, scheduling, applying for financial aid, and making your schedule work for you. Time and money are crucial resources, and no one student or any other person can do without it. The quote they provided here is, "The key is to make smart decisions about how you spend them." And by them, we mean both how you spend your time and how you spend your money. Being in school and being successful, you have to have time to study and go to class, money to pay tuition and other expenses, books, transportation, gas, food, the flexibility to find more of each of these resources when you are running low. So essentially, the two are interrelated and interdependent on each other, time and money and being a college student. Old saying here, time is money. So it takes you 1 week working for 20 hours at $10 an hour to earn $200. And you turn around and purchase a new phone. That phone costs you essentially a week of work. So what we have to ask ourselves here is it worth the time it took to earn that money? And this should be part of every decision we make pertaining to school, work, and the ultimate goal we're trying to reach, which is obtaining a degree, which obviously means we want to do more in our careers by being being more educated and earning more money. So some of the relative cost of going to school, day-to-day, working, living. Day-to-day expenses may mean for some people their Starbucks, their cigarettes, your meals, ordering in versus cooking, etc. So this is essentially illustrating what we spend our money on day to day, what we consider a quote-unquote living expense. And this illustration is just to kind of, I guess, show us what some things we spend our money on, how quickly it adds up. If you're a Starbucks lover like I am, average coffee is $4+ That's $20 a week, $80 a month, over $1,000 a year. So that's money essentially that could be saved by either kicking the caffeine habit or making your own coffee. So that's all that illustration was for. We're going to find out what kind of time and money manager are we. What do we identify as our time-related needs and preferences? How do we do this? We create a personal time profile, and consider your profile when you're creating a schedule. I think since most of you are completely online asynchronous students, you chose this method because it currently fits your schedule. You're probably full-time employed, have a family to take care of, so spending 12 hours a week sitting in a classroom would not be ideal for your situation. So we're going to note also our ways that we manage our money. Are we a spender or a saver? How do our money habits reflect our values? Do we spend the $20 a week on coffee, or is that $20 saved? And how we look towards the future as it relates to money, or is it all going to be now? How do we manage our time? Sounds easy. Build a schedule. Everybody, I think, has a cell phone or an iPad or some sort of electronic device that includes a calendar, includes a memo, includes updates, includes your email. So electronic calendars are probably the most frequent used right now. and they assist us with scheduling our time, reminding us that we have a task or an event or a meeting, or your child has a meeting at school. But they keep us essentially on our toes if we use them to plan. We have to plan regularly, which means we can't plan for today. We should be focusing on planning ahead of time. We know what day we have class, what time we have class. Ideally, we would know our work schedule and we can plan around those things. We're on a semester basis, so can we possibly plan for the entire semester? We could. We just can't foresee the things that hinder some of those plans at times. Using to-do lists. Again, this is something most of us can put into our phones and assist us with fighting procrastination. Of course, procrastination means putting off something to do until another time, and I think we're all probably creatures of this habit. So why do we procrastinate? We'd rather not try than not to get it right. Fear of limitations. The task seems overwhelming, or lack of belief in ourselves. Sometimes we're just not procrastinating, we're just busy, and some things take priority over another. Thinking before you act is the key to combating procrastination. Now, these are anti-procrastination strategies that they've listed to assist us procrastinators. Analyze the effects. What happens if I do this now? What happens if I don't do this now? If I do it now and it's out of the way, will that free up time for something else? Or if I wait and do it later, will I wind up rushing or cramming or not completing my task? Setting reasonable goals. If this is a long-term project, how long do I really need to manage the project from beginning to end? And can I do this step by step? So I can't log into my course in Blackboard in November with the intent to do a semester's worth of work prior to the final exam. Break your task into small parts. Again, if it's a long-term project, you plan and break it into smaller parts. If it's short-term, simply as doing the laundry, I have a habit of putting laundry in on my way out the door in the morning. At least it's washed when I get home, and I'll put it in the dryer hopefully the same day if I remember it's in the washing machine. Go ahead and get started whether you feel like it or not. Most times starting is the hardest part, and once you start, you're done before you know it, and you've forgotten why it was you didn't want to have to tackle this task anyway. Ask for help. If someone's around that you know that can assist you and they do it in the manner that you'd appreciate, in the correct manner, go ahead and ask for help. Don't expect perfection every time. This goes back to one of the reasons we don't start things. We're afraid we won't get it right. And at the end, reward yourself for getting the task done. How do we manage our money? Being a college student and working full-time, everything runs out. Resources, especially money. Let's not assume that you're not eligible for financial aid, even if you are if you're employed full-time or have more than one income household. Don't assume that you're not eligible. Apply early, and early is the first of the year. The FAFSA applications are opened in January, so as soon as you filed your taxes, you can also file your FAFSA. This will cover applications for student loans and grants like the Pell Grant. But you could also apply for, for scholarships for the university and private scholarships, organizational scholarships, company scholarships. Just tap into as many funds as you can think of when it comes to finding aid for school. How do we juggle work and how do we juggle school together? What do I need in terms of money, location, and hours? We're an online course, so location is relative. Hours is not. We have to put in our work hours and then turn around and put in hours in Blackboard for our courses. So what do you need in terms of money, location, and hours? Of course, location we said is relative. Hours requires a second shift per se on your part to get from work and then do your classwork after that. If you don't go to work, will there be money to pay for school? What are the pros and cons of each potential job? And what option gives me the most of what I need? Pros and cons of working full-time, just you're full-time employed. The cons, if you're also trying to pursue a degree, is that you lack time, or there are more demands on your time than somewhat seem reasonable. And what options give me the most of what you need? If you've decided to pursue a degree of higher education, you feel like that having a degree will give you more options in terms of working, in terms of earning, and we realize at some point that we won't always be in school and working. So at some point, this too shall end, and you'll reap the rewards of the degree at the end. On average, most students work. This illustration shows us that of four-year college students, like you guys are, 47% work less than full-time. That's almost half. 23% work full-time, at least 40 hours a week, and 30% are not employed. Two-year students are about the same. 38% work less than full-time, 41% work full-time, and 21% are not employed. What is relative to this chart that stands out the most is that two-year college students tend to work full-time than not. This can be explained by if you're at a two-year college, you're obviously pursuing a trade or an associate's degree, so you might already be working in that field, and you're looking for certification and or some sort of assistance on the job that you're already on. Basic ways to budget our money. We have to know what we earn, what do we bring in, and figure out what we spend. And we probably do more spending than we do earning. And what's the difference between the two? Are we spending more than we make? Are we saving more than we spend? Once we figure those out, answer those questions, we can adjust our spending and or our earning to get creative with our budgeting. College campuses are a playground for the credit card companies. The average number of credit cards per student that is at least 18 and 23 years old is 4.6 credit cards. The average credit card debt per student is over $2,000. And those who use credit for things related to school, like books or gas, living expenses, is a whopping 92%. So a large number of persons are having to purchase books on credit, gas, living expenses, paying tuition or fees on credit while they're in school. Percentage of students with debt up to $7,000 is 21%. And that's a lot of debt to be for a student, because you've got to pay that back while you're in school more than likely, which is why so many students are having to work. So what should we do pertaining to credit? Think before you act. Would I buy this if I had cash? Most times, probably not. Can I pay it off at the end of the month? I think most of us plan to do this. And what will I have to give up if I buy this? Meaning, what else can I save or spend this on more important or relative to my goal right now? I like this saying, money is only a tool. It will take you wherever you wish, but it will not replace you as the driver. So that has us focus on what we're using our money for, and focus on if money at the end is the end all be all. So let's review chapter 3 again. You can review this PowerPoint again. We'll also do a short quiz on this one. I'll leave this slide up for a little bit longer as well if you want to go back and take notes or reread. Okay? We're done with this one.